What's the biggest scam in America? Surprised no one mentioned Ticketmaster yet. I scrolled really far and was surprised I didn't see rent-to-own stores. They sell furniture and electronics type stuff to people with bad credit who can't really afford it. Let them pay a small amount weekly. If people end up paying on time and pay stuff off, they will pay 2 or 3 times more than the item is worth. If they make a payment late, the item is repossessed and resold to someone else and the first person loses all the money they paid. There are used car dealers that do this same business model with cars too. They put GPS trackers in the car that also disable the starter. They collect $1,000 down and once a payment is late they disable the car and go to it, then sell it again and keep the down payment. I worked at a shop that installed the trackers and these places would sell the same car to different people 5 or 6 times in a year because they kept repoing it. Funerals, weddings, and pretty much every other thing we blindly accept have to be insanely expensive without even thinking about it. I think student loan services. For example, Navient manages federally guaranteed debt for the US Gov in student loans, has the IRS as their personal collection agency. They constantly fuck up to the extent they get dragged in front of congressional hearings, and their CEO is paid $7.7 million annually. Cable TV internet monopolies. Online charlatans that will share their secrets if you buy their course. Insulin prices. Those payday loan businesses. It's predatory as shit and it's just legal loan sharking. News as entertainment. Whatever MLM scheme Meisel was peddling at Thanksgiving. Online convenience fee for paying bills. Not every bill has it, but I found it's usually utilities and it's BS. Not the biggest scam, but something that irritates me. Bank fees. You are broke, so we are going to charge you for being broke. The whole health system, like putting a fee on holding your baby after giving birth? Seriously. Two-party political system edit. Thank you guys for all the awards. This is the first time anything of mine has gotten this much attention, lol. Fuck a two-party system. College tuition being ridiculously high. Probably our credit score system. For instance, in what universe is paying off your debt a risk factor, such that your credit score drops significantly if you pay down what you owe? So I pay my bills, so that looks sketchy and I am penalized for it. Like I paid off an old credit card and my score dropped 130 points. And the cycle of renting in which you make just enough to scrape by so you can't get quite enough to get out of the cycle. Then the rent increases yearly. So you're further into the cycle. And all the while your credit isn't improving to the point that you can escape and you don't make enough to put a lot away to buy a house. So it continues. OxyContin is not addictive. College textbooks. You need edition 10 for this class. They change one chapter in the book, make it a new edition, overprice it, and fuck the college kids. Always drove me nuts when I was in college. Health insurance. Weenie in a 10-pack, bread in an 8. Gestures vaguely at everything. Credit system. Pay everything off and your score goes down. Talk about indentured servitude. How we have to file our taxes correctly even though the government knows exactly how much we made every year, and if we file it wrong we get penalized. Healthcare and college loans. Mega churches. Personally, joining the military. Serving my country. Getting exposed to chemicals. Dying from the inside at 40 with no help from the society I served. American dream, baby. Insurance. The entire credit score system. College textbooks and software. Modern appliances. Fragile and break within a few years. Meant to make money on service or replacement. Meanwhile a 50-year-old refrigerator is still running. Healthcare and pharma costs in us vs the rest of the world. Shakeology. Susan G. Komen without a doubt if people actually knew how much of their donation went to salaries, upkeep vs research and help, they'd be shocked. Edit. Shameless plug since it's Giving Tuesday. A friend I know started a charity that gives 100% back to women and families affected by breast cancer, unless you make directed donation towards expenses. It is called Breast Intentions and run 100% by volunteers. No salaries for anyone. If you know anyone that needs help, wants to run a chapter, or just wants to talk to survivors, they can help. If you donate, they will tell you exactly how your donation was spent, and it can make you cry. I have to pick only one. I think our healthcare system is the largest and most comically villainous of all of them, but man, the list is luong for bullshit scams in this wasteland. The idea that you need to be productive all the time. It's okay to just exist. Bottled water. Trickle-down economics isn't a theory of economics, but a mechanism present in all economics. Its meaning has been tied to one man's usage while holding office and misrepresented ever since. At a macro level of economics, even Keynesian economics applies this to a revenue multiplier for the government's tax income, and is recognized in wage distribution. Amway. The entire fucking prison system. Politicians. Paying your taxes and then never seeing a return on your investment. That's our money. Fix our roads, give us healthcare, educate our children properly, pay our teachers a living wage, raise up people below the poverty line so they can live with dignity. Stop wasting $750 billion a year on our military. I'm in Vegas right now for a conference. 90% of this city is a scam. Only worthwhile thing is the restaurants. The use of religion in politics. Big business wielding huge political power. Sure, people go to the polls, but behind the scenes corporations pay exorbitant amounts of money to pay politicians to make policies favorable to them and in the process ignoring the will of the people. A few weeks ago there was a huge row in the UK over Owen Paterson, a Tory MP who had received huge lumps of money by lobbying for a healthcare company, for which he eventually resigned. This happens every day in America and no one really seems to care. The two-party duopoly. Lobbying being legal, student loans, healthcare insurance. I've read Ticketmaster multiple times with no comments. Could you explain what it did? Edit. Thanks for all the explanations and experiences. I haven't bought from them too much, and I'm glad I haven't now. And to think, Smithers, you laughed when I bought Ticketmaster. Nobody's going to pay 100% service charge. Ticket busted. At the other end of that, there was a kid I grew up with. At one stage when he was about 20 he'd bought a big screen TV via rent to own. He paid the down payment and first installment but then sold the TV and stopped paying the installments. His reasoning was that he no longer owned it, so he didn't need to pay for it either. He actually thought that he discovered a loophole into a money-making scheme. The rental company didn't see it that way. I used to be the sales manager at my local renter center years ago. It's a huge scam and I feel dirty even having worked there. The worst thing I ever had to do was repossess a fridge from a single mother. She cried as she removed the items and kept saying, "I have nowhere to put these. They are going to go bad." Another one was when I had to repossess a bunk bed from two kids. They asked their dad where they were going to sleep. It's been years and I still think about it from time to time. Don't rent from rent-owned stores. Don't give them business. $1,000 down. We used to require $2,500, which was about one stroke to the value of the car, then charge $300 a month for 36 months. So they'd pay like $13k plus for a 5k car, all while ownership was hoping they missed a few payments, fees. On top of that, didn't even report their good payments to the credit bureaus to help them out, only if they missed payments or defaulted. Did this happen to me? My car started acting up after a late payment and eventually just didn't start. I was a store manager of one of these rent-to-own companies in Canada in my early 20s 2 to 3 times. PFT. We had floor space in a major furniture retailer. If a customer got turned down for in-store financing, they would bring them to us and salespeople got a $20 bonus for the referral. Not near what the commission would be, but better than nothing. We would then purchase the item from the store at cost plus 10%, then multiply our price by 4. Then it would be divided by the number of months in entire term. That's 400% interest. The check cashing places prey on the same demographic. My brother did this when he was younger. Bought a computer that ended up being 6x the actual price because it was on monthly payments. Luckily my parents sold a house near Christmas and spoiled us that year and just paid it off in full for him, $4,000 in payments for like a $700 PC. It's not only a scam, but really takes advantage of people that don't understand what exactly they're signing into. He's a super smart dude, but when you're like 20 something, you don't really fully grasp it. It's the same reason I bought a car at 25 year at 23.5% April. Glad this ended up being popular. I crusade against them more than the average person. When I was young with no credit, I went in one to check out bed sets. They offered cell phones. You would have paid $3,000 over 3 years for a $600 phone. Taking advantage of poor people under the guise of helping poor people is some of the most despicable shit. Came here looking for funerals. It shouldn't cost over $1,000 to put somebody in the ground. My aunt made payments for her daughter's funeral for 5 years. It's a box in a hole. It shouldn't cost $8,000 to put a body in a hole. Musician here. We literally charge up to $400 per hour for weddings, funerals. Not because those are our rates, but because people will not hire us if we charge less. They think that price equals quality, and you need the best quality for these events. Wild. I cried on the phone the other day with a student loans agent. I was getting penalized for a form they hadn't processed yet. I was being devastated with financial repercussions threatening my ability to finish my education because their processing system was backed up. She was very nice to me. She acknowledged how fucked it was. My friend told me about his loans, warning me about mine. He forgot to close his student loan account after he had paid it off. He was charged $5 monthly for years and had no idea. He owed a ton of money. ALLLLL because he didn't actually close his student loan account. WTF. I've only had my federal student loans for about 3 months. At the beginning of this semester, they've already changed my loan servicer 4 times. How TF am I supposed to keep track of who I'm supposed to pay? Agreed. A friend of mine borrowed $40,000 in student loans. So far she has paid $33,000, and yet she owes $54,000. It's ridiculous. Navient recently dumped that federal contract, kicked the can down the road to another company. The issue is federal student loans are so easy to get, colleges noticed and jacked their rates up. Now you have ridiculous tuition fees and easy access to a loan. That's a recipe for disaster. Navient was simply the easiest target to blame the entire system on, as loan servicing has to resort to shady tactics to reclaim those unpaid loans. I know it's fucked up, but that's the system if you will. Fuck my life. I came in here looking for student loans, and I didn't even have to use the fucking find in page function. I took $35K out with Navient about 7-8 years ago. I've made monthly payments for the last 5 years totaling roughly $25K. I currently owe $32K. Student loan servicers are evil. Seriously. The Spectrum person that signed me up on the phone gave me a price and simply neglected to tell me it was a promotional rate. Price goes up 50% after a year. Canada has got to be the worst in the world. And YouTube TV is turning out to be the same $sign and amp, different medium. Hey, let's keep jacking up the price, but let's add on a dozen or so channels no one F and amp, $sign and amp, in cares about to keep everyone happy. No, that did not make us happy because we're not that dumb. It's like Animal Farm. I think the real issue with them is that we haven't gotten to thinking about internet as a utility like we have water and power. If we did, it could help with rates and quality of service. My college classmate sends me spam about buying his classes on how to succeed at being a lawyer. He's not a lawyer. I bought a day trading course for $300. I was about 5 minutes in when I said, oh, I get it. I've been scammed.